Good day, Servan. I am Rika Minanoy from BSED English 1A, and these are my answers. Number 1. The studies topics revolve around international students, adaptation to local society, and the factors that influence this process. A sense of isolation, a lack of social support, language barriers, cultural shock, and academic challenges are common among international students. Failure to adapt to the host society has a negative impact on international students' daily lives and academic achievements, as well as their mental health. Language barriers can make it challenging for international students to succeed academically and socially. Number 2. Here are the following statements of other literature or studies about the issues. Lack of English competency relates to several maladaptive outcomes, such as weak social networks, feelings of discrimination, and anxiety. Andrade 2006, Mori 2000, Wang and others 2018. According to the studies of Norton and Troje 2011 and Wanger 1998, pointed out that learning a language involves becoming a member of an imagined community of speakers of that language. Cultivate a sense of belonging to the L2 community through multiple strategies. Example, gaining access to native speakers, social networks, joining an imagined community of multilingual individuals can facilitate L2 learning. Servachok 2019, Peirce 1995. Although a variety of factors, example social support, self-concept, impact international students' adjustment, and academic performance. English language proficiency remains a consistent predictor of success in English-speaking higher education settings. Mac and others 2015, Martirosyan and others 2015, Newman and others 2019. According to Lee 2002, language as one of the most important components of a culture plays an essential role in group identity and serves as a major tool to maintain culture and distinguish one culture from others. Interestingly, cultural identity can both promote and inhibit language learning. Ersanili and Kopsman 2010. Ngo and Lee 2016, Shin 2010. Studies of Gluzik 2011 and Shin 2010 suggested that cultural identity promoted language learning. Many studies found that affiliation to a cultural group promoted heritage language. These are home language learning outcomes such as language proficiency and desire to learn the heritage language. Example, Lee 2002, Shin 2010, Chi 2000. Several studies have demonstrated that sound language learners who identify more closely with that L2 group showed greater motivation in L2 learning, greater language proficiency, weaker accents in the L2, and increased likelihood of using the L2 in daily life. Ersanili and Kopsman 2010. Gluzik and others 2011, Newells 2001A, Vandergriff 2005. Some studies have found that integrative orientation is positively correlated with both extrinsic and intrinsic motivation. Example, Newells 2001-2005. Number 3, participants were recruited from a variety of universities around the United States for the study. A participant pool at a prominent Midwestern institution, international student gatherings at the same university, personal contacts including social media, and Amazon Mechanical Turk were all used to recruit participants. MTurk. MTurk, an Amazon managed online data collecting system, has been found to yield data with the same level of reliability as data obtained through university student subject polls, while also allowing for a more diverse sample of participants. Bormister and others 2018. Only students with international student visa and whose native language was not English were asked to complete the questionnaire. The final sample included 77 respondents, 35 men, 42 women, including 37 undergraduate students, 48.1%, 36 students, graduate students, 46.8%, and 4 students, 5.2%, who did not report their student level. In terms of region of origin, 61% were from Asia, 10.2% were from Africa, 9.8% were from the Middle East, 9.8% were from Latin America, and 8.4% were from Europe. The relationship between cultural identity, language, learning, motivation, and English proficiency was investigated using path analysis. The model passed both the exact and close fit tests. RMSEA equals 000 90% CI 0.00.00, indicating that model fit was satisfactory. The current route model CFI was 1.00, indicating that it was approximately 100% better than the baseline model. This CFI result indicated that the model fit was reasonably excellent. All parameter estimates were reasonable, as were their standard errors. The standardized solutions were equal to or smaller than the variances, which were all positive. Number 4. Both ethnic identification and American identity were positively connected to motivation to learn English according to the data. As a result, each three was supported, but each one was not. English skill was also negatively associated to ethnic identification, but not to American identity. As a result, H2 was accepted, but H4 was not. Finally, English proficiency was found to be positively connected to motivation. As a result, H5 was back up. Both motivation and ethnic identification had direct influence on English competence according to the findings. Because ethnic identity had a large impact on motivation, and motivation had a big impact on English proficiency. Motivation may be considered a partial mediator of ethnic identity's impact on English proficiency. Motivation, on the other hand, was seen as a full mediator, mediating the influence of American identification on English proficiency, because American identity had no substantial direct effect on English proficiency. As a result, H6 was back up. The findings revealed that cultural identification impacted language learning desire and competency, albeit whether ethnic or American identity was the key predictor changed depending on the outcome variable. Motivation was found to be a major predictor of self-perceived English proficiency, and it also mediated the effects of ethnic and American identity on English proficiency in the current study. To summarize, the current study discovered a link between cultural identity and motivation to learn English as well as English language proficiency. First, strong ethnic identity may hinder English performance, but determination to learn English may mitigate this effect and help international students studying in the United States attain even greater English language proficiency. Second, while a strong American identity was not directly linked to English proficiency, it did enhance it through incentive. Finally, the research sheds new light on the interplay between cultural identification and language learning among international students. Number 5. There are two more recommendations for future investigation. First, because identity is dynamic, longitudinal designs are required to further investigate identity translation processes. Second, future studies should look into differences between student groups, example, international students and domestic students, who also speak English as a second language, international students from different countries or cultured backgrounds. In conclusion, more research is needed to replicate and extend these findings because understanding international students' experiences has important implications for developing programs that assess international students in adapting to their host society and facilitating academic and personal success. Number 6, these are the concepts that both the study and the curriculum discuss. Language acquisition, language learning, and the elements that influence students' adaptation to the local society. And that's all. Thank you.